Hello, my name is Karen, and while this video thing can be quite a bit challenging, my goal in my heart is to reach a broader audience than I currently am. So while on lockdown during this pandemic back in March, my mom went into a nursing home for some simple rehab after having surgery. She was going to be there maybe 3 weeks or so, and a month later she ended up, right before we were hoping to have a home, she ended up with COVID. She was unresponsive. My siblings and I thought we were saying goodbye to her. We thought it was our last phone call with her. It was very, very hard. But she did survive. She's doing amazing. She's home now. We're so excited. She's doing so much better than we could have even imagined. We bought a wheelchair for her thinking she'd be living in it, and she hasn't used it once. So needless to say, I knew a lot about energy work. I needed to focus in the right direction, and I really wanted to give back to others. It's always something I wanted to do. This was my golden opportunity to do it. And I created my Facebook page to keep the focus there. I knew I had to accept whatever was going to happen, whatever my mom's sole purpose was ready for, whether it's remaining with us or wanting to transition. I knew I had to accept that. I also wanted to hold her in the best vibration that would help her, and that's her wellness. So I had many visions of her and her wellness. I sent her love from my heart space quite often. Anyway, so I created my webpage, which I called Beacon of Light. I created posts. I went to Canva and learned how to put together my own images. And it was a lot of fun, and it felt really good to give back. There were times I didn't want to push this on the few friends I had on Facebook. So I signed up with some spiritual websites. I started giving advice to people on those websites. Many would come back thanking me and appreciate it, and I'd send them to my page. So it really felt good connecting and helping others to rediscover their power within, which we all have, innately all have. Energy work was always a passion of mine. Ever since I was younger, I always knew the body had an innate ability to heal itself. But I would think that would be learned in books and studying what is status quo. And that's not how it works when you understand energy. It's not at all how it works. So I knew the body had this innate ability, but yet I was looking down the wrong path to find that and to help myself evolve in that way. But in reality, it's so much easier. So much easier than you'd ever think. Just the word easy makes many think it's not going to work. You're not giving it enough attention. You're not trying hard enough. You're just sitting back and taking the letting it go with the flow. You're not really put much into it. But it is that easy. We have a guidance system within us, and it's simply our emotions. How we think and how we feel is what's creating our reality. And it's a tough concept to wrap your head around at times. Once I understood this concept, my life changed drastically. I was one to always worry, have self-doubt. As I said, I believed in whatever was status quo. I accepted my limited potential. And I always put myself last. My opinion wasn't as important as yours. If you were hungry, you could have the last piece of food. And I was a people pleaser, pretty much. This is what happens, though. We lose, when we're born, we know what we want as babies. We're happy, we're joyful. Even if it's getting changed, being fed, getting attention, they're very simple things. But we still can connect to that joy a little bit easier. And then we start to take on paradigms that really don't serve us. We try to please our well-meaning parents, our teachers, society at large. It's rewarding to have somebody appreciate you or talk good of you or give you praise. So then you continue with those behaviors of pleasing them and you lose a sense of self. And once you rediscover how valued you are, how loved you are, how appreciated you are, how amazing you are, how gifted you are, that you have love to give and share with others and feel for yourself, life does change. So needless to say, I was always sick. If you had an illness, just by you saying it, I think I could have gotten it. I was at the doctors all the time, you name it. I was sick often. I had, what did I have? I had stomach issues. I had fibromyalgia. I had colitis. I was hospitalized for it. I had fibromyalgia. That was pretty tough. In my 30s, I can honestly say I felt like I was in a 90-year-old body for the longest time. But little by little, day by day, I felt better and better. And when you can emotionally feel better, your body just follows. It's the natural order of life. And it's just getting in touch with those connections, really. But once I truly understood that my emotions were guiding me, and I had this innate ability to be so in touch with my emotions. I used to think of myself as overly sensitive in the past. Now I just realized I was connected, and that's a good thing. I can know right away if something's serving me or not. And when it doesn't, I focus elsewhere. It is that simple. You do your best to remain in alignment for whatever is happening at the moment. And if it's throwing you off or it's not starting to feel good, then you know you need to reach for a better feeling thought on that topic or reach for a different thought altogether. Something that will bring you joy in the moment. And sometimes it has to go to the extent of totally taking a break. Give me 5. Going outside in nature, taking a nice walk, watching a funny movie, reading a good book. Just stopping the momentum of what's going on altogether may be needed. And you have to learn your body and your limitations in that. I shouldn't say limitations because they're not limitations. You have to learn your body and be in touch. When it feels good, think about it, talk about it, call friends and dream about it, write about it. And when it doesn't feel good, 17 seconds or less, as Abraham teaches us. It's a really good tool to use. So always reach for the high thought you can in the moment, and know that little by little, all those moments will connect and create a better feeling day, a better feeling week, a better feeling year. I can honestly say the last 2.5 years, I have never had a bad day per se. And what I went through with my mom last year really taught me some, really helped me to grow to know that. And I didn't allow it. It wasn't easy. It really was a challenge. Might have been a good part of my day, but it wasn't my whole day. And then the second day got better, and little by little, I taught myself how to connect to her. I felt it, and I think she felt it because she improved in her stats, her vitals. So I think there was something going on there. So the really interesting thing is, when you reach for that highest feeling thought, you're creating this joy in the moment. So that's one benefit. But you're also attracting more joy into your life. That's law of attraction. So you're attracting more momentum to the joy that you're having, and your body is flowing naturally and the way it wants to, and in that state of wellness. So when we're in this state of joy, of love, of appreciation, we upregulate our immune system. And science can now measure this neurologically, chemically. They can measure this and see what happens when we have a thought, when we're in a state of joy, and what's going on within our bodies. It's really interesting. And it's just proving everything that many indigenous people already know. Equally interesting is when we're in the better feeling emotions of joy and appreciation and love. We have a field around our bodies that can also be measured, and that field expands when you're in those higher feeling vibrations. And when you're not, it shrinks. So there's definitely something going on here, my friends. So now that we understand the key is our emotions. Our emotions are our guidance system. So whatever feeling we have in the moment, if it's joyful, like I said, just milk it. Milk it the best you can. If it's not, we're going to reach for a better feeling thought if we can. If not, we'll do something different to distract ourselves and get in that joyful mode. And know the universe will provide for us. So understand, it's not what's happening around us. It's not others, experiences, people, places, things happening to us that's creating our reality. It's how we perceive that to be. So on this, my first video, my goal is to get you to be a little more conscious of your unconscious thoughts. If you could start realizing that you might have a paradigm, as many do since we're younger, and maybe that paradigm isn't serving you as best as it could. And what if? What if life could be joyful? Ciao for now.